Greetings, your shift today begins in a rather unusual fashion. Originally, you were meant to take over this freight train in Brandenburg, however a route closure in Czechia meant that it racked up quite a noticeable delay and your colleague ran out of hours. The train was therefore dumped here in Jüterbog, where after your journey here as a passenger and after releasing the handbrakes, you take it over and set it up. Today you're running in PZB train type M, and then the rest is irrelevant because it was fixed in an update. You choose pantograph number 1 as your pantograph. Your train is 563 metres long, 1,588 tonnes heavy, and has 86 brake units. Your train number is 42993. Have a good trip. And with that, welcome back to Let's Play Train Simulator 2021. I'll close that message real quick. And I'll turn my train sim down as well so I can actually hear myself. Yeah, welcome back to Train Simulator 2021. This video is a bit interesting. I'll just pause break and go to the 8 view. So this video is a bit interesting. I originally planned to record this before my university exams, and I actually got a recording. I finished this scenario, I got a recording, I said everything I wanted to say, and then when I went to edit it, the video was apparently corrupted, and obviously it was way too close to my exams for me to like re-record it, and yeah, by that point I just sort of put it on the back burner until my exams were finished. And then after my exams were finished, I had sort of other things to take care of, and fast forward a few months later, and here I am. I'll spare you the details for now, but yeah, things happened, but I'm still alive, I'm back, and yeah, as I said, we're here in Jüterbog with with the K-Trains Traxx, and I can't speak highly enough of this locomotive, and you'll see why in a minute. It's just absolutely amazing. Like, just even from the model, it is absolutely gorgeous. We'll take a look at all of this We'll take a look at all of this eventually. Okay, so that being said, let's get set up. We've got I believe, got a train on the main line, and obviously that train leaving before we do, so that gives us enough time to set up. Alright, so we've just got the lone 186 today. I want to make sure our safety systems are set up right. So just turn the Czech systems off and the German systems on. Okay, that's fine. So yeah, this is the, well, in Czech it would be the 386, but in Germany it's the 186. It's a multi-voltage, primarily freight Bombardier Traxx locomotive, and because it's multi-system and because the developer is Czech, it's obviously sort of built around a more sort of, you know, Czech operating model. With that being said, PZB is fully simulated, LZB is fully simulated, and even ETCS is fully simulated. It's honestly so detailed, and you can even interact with, you know, cab window and a cab door, and a window on that side and a cab door on that side. Anyway, enough obsessing over the openable. There was a bit of a bug with sticky levers, so what I end up doing is I just move them back and forth, just to sort of unsticky them. And yeah, so this loco's got a very detailed startup procedure, which we'll go through now. So what you do initially is go to his back panel and find a click spot, then whack that key to the left hand side. This is sort of battery / startup / setup key. You want to wait for these displays to end up booting up. Which doesn't take too long. And once that display's booted up, what you want to end up doing is going back to that panel, turning that key to the right, and then releasing your handbrake. Just wait for it to go through its stealth test. Don't worry too much about it screaming at you in German. Okay, so after that, you push this button, backward brake into release. Okay, so after that you run through your sort of preliminary setup. So as we were told in the scenario description, we want pantograph number 1. We want pantograph number 1. As I said as well, you can set your brake type to G, which is what you'd normally have on a freight train. So G for Güter, goods, freight. And because it was fixed in an update so your PZB brake type to go off brake units rather than brake setting, you can just whack it into G and it'll be fine. Right, the rest of that looks good. And here's where the sort of magic happens. So our details are in the F1 HUD, but then it's also a good idea to note these details down. So you go into this menu and enter your details. So with brake type G, with a train length of 563 meters, with Vmax of 100 kph, with 86 brake units, we'll keep that as disc brake, and a train weight of 1,588 tons. Press the E key to enter the data. What we can do as well is raise our pantograph, which we should see raising now. There you go. There's contact, and as soon as HS Sperre goes out, which is sort of main circuit breaker lock, as soon as that extinguishes and changes to highest Einschalten or engage main circuit breaker, you press Z. You should start hearing some humming. Excellent. Okay, so once that's done, you go to this main display here. You go to well, I should have done this at the beginning. You go to system and make sure the correct system is set. And in our case, it's D for Deutschland. Oh, there goes a 112 or a 114 with an RE. Anyway, for us, our system is D 15 kilovolt. Press enter. And I think next you press Spezial. No, never mind. There you go. You go on main, Zugdaten, and you sort of want your train to sort of know everything about itself. So you select ECCS, and because you entered the data in previously, you just press enter to carry it over. Press enter again, and then you press the acknowledge key with page down, or by clicking it. You press enter again. And now this step is optional, but I just do it for the sake of completeness. So our train number is 42993. And press enter. And with that, our train data is pretty much registered. Now there's a blinking message there that says carry out brake test. And what you want to do for that, well, firstly I want to change our ECCS level. Now we set up ECCS so that we can set up a train safety system, and there goes that 185 stood next to us. And what you want to do is you want to press that, then press the 5 key on the MFD, then press enter, then press start. Then you want to go back to Basis with the 0 key, go on Spezial, then test, then ECCS brake test. It's a bit iffy trying to get it to activate, but you should be able to hear the sweet and sultry sound of air as a brake test is carried out. And now this brake test does actually take quite a while, as it would in a train 563 metres long in real life. You should hear the compressor going off as well. Right, you want to put the brake lever back in the release position so that it obviously releases brakes after brake test. And you know, while that's happening, let's have a little gander around. The compressor is working very hard, trying to build up all that air we lost. That's another thing we can do. We can turn the headlights on with L. It's a very sort of unorthodox keybind for the headlights, but you'll get used to it. So our loco today is AWT livery 186351, leased from Aachen, and now they lease, very European leasing company, they lease 186s pretty much everywhere. And there's a bit more proof that it's an Aachen loco in its YC digits. And another thing I like is this. I was hoping the texture would be a bit more high res. It is on some reskins, but not on this one. Maximum speed of 140, and then the list of countries it's permitted to operate in our case, Germany, Austria, Czechia and Hungary, and a bunch of countries crossed out, which I assume are Slovakia, Belgium and the Netherlands. Anyway, our load today is a bunch of these. We've got MRSs rather, all with LKW Walter trailers. Now the Germans have got, well, I say the Germans, the Europeans have got this really cool concept of called the Rollende Landstraße, or the rolling road, whereby you haul a truck trailer to a freight terminal, load it onto a flatbed, and let the train sort of do the long distance haulage for you, and you then and then another truck driver picks up that trailer from the next freight terminal and takes it to some local depot that's easy to access by road. And honestly, it's cool. It's very cool. Right. We've got road. Mark our reverser at the forward. Another thing I want to do is turn our AFB on. Now, to sort of work this, you hold down Q, and it increases sort of stepwise, and then you move it back to constant with C. It's and you sort of do the same with the throttle, except you use E to unlock the throttle, which is what I'll end up showing now, because, well, hopefully it won't go through a second round of brake testing. Knowing my luck, it will, but it doesn't appear to be so. So you unlock the lever with E, so to sort of push it down. And then you sort of got 4 notches. You've got reduce traction, keep traction, increase traction, which is what we're going to whack it into now. We don't want to do too much of it though, or else we'll get some tasty wheel slip, which obviously isn't ideal. So starting speed limit is 60 kph. Well, it says on the HUD, but then there's also a nice little 6 on the signal. So we're in restricted monitoring, but because the signal is green, we can immediately reset it. So we'll do that with end. There goes, slipping a little bit. So we'll not overdo it with the tractive effort. Now, admittedly, there is one thing I still get quite a bit wrong, and it's the brake lever. So that's. Oh, okay. Again, admittedly, the brake lever is a thing I end up getting quite wrong. I sort of misjudge the position of the lever and mess up with the braking. One thing I can do now actually is make the HUD a bit more opaque. So I was driving the 112, which doesn't really need the HUD to be as opaque. You can get away with a more transparent HUD. And I kind of forgot to change it back, so nice preparation there, Omar. Very professional.
Zifa.
So the keybinds for the Zifa it's roughly the same. as sort of anything VR, so spacebar to reset and so on. Oh, there's an ICET coming the other way. Nice bit of tilt. Sort of like, I really like that attention to detail that TTB have with their AI stock. Like, even though it's AI, even though it's low res, they still got it doing the little things like tilting that you'd expect one to do in real life. Right, so as you noticed, the levers have got these sort of like little clicks when you unlock them. Now, with the AFB lever, it's a bit useless. It doesn't really do much else. But with the throttle lever, if you push E twice, like so, that's your remaining train length. You get a little train length measurer, and in about 500 meters, you'll gain a nice sort of little sound telling you, right, the rear of a train has passed that quote-unquote beacon you laid. You'll hear it in just a second. So eventually our speed limit will go up, which it has, so whack the AFB all the way forwards to set us up to 100 kph, and at some point we'll get LZB to take us over as well. There was a beeping that you were meant to listen out for. Oh, there goes, a bit too much. In any case, though, there is just so much that's scripted on this loco. It's honestly so well done, and yeah, it's I'm yeah. Where was I going? So sort of in real life, I don't find Traxx particularly exciting. I think they're cool, but I don't think they're particularly exciting because they're everywhere. But this is just so much of a joy to drive. It's just indescribably cool. It's so well done. It's so well scripted. It's honestly a dream to drive. So kudos to K-Trains for just hitting it out of the ballpark with this one. It's honestly incredible. I thought I'd mention as well, the route we're on is Berlin Leipzig Remastered. It's a freeware upgrade for, well, Berlin Leipzig, and I'll post, and again, yeah, I'll post the link to the scenario and the loco in the description below. So if you are impressed with this, then yeah, do give them a gander. They're honestly very well worth your time. Yeah, so this scenario is made by a guy on the German Railsim forum called Kurt, and his scenarios are pretty good. I do enjoy his scenarios, and this one is no exception. It's a short scenario, but for what it lacks in length, it more than makes up for in sort of variety of traffic. So as you saw, we saw, you know, one regional express passing us while we were sat in a loop at Utebog, then that 185 leaving in front of us on that mixed freight, and then that ICT going the opposite way. And yeah, so this route in real life is, funnily enough, one I've not actually been on, so I don't really know too much about it. I mean, I sort of know its history. I know sort of, you know, about Berlin's complicated rail history and how the, you know, sort of how the division of the wall and, you know, the Warsaw Pact sort of affected railways in and around East Germany. But I sort of don't know the little finer things. So if we were driving, say, between Mannheim and Frankfurt, for example, I'd sort of be able to say, oh yeah, there's a access road to a power station there. We should be coming up to X station soon, or so on and so forth. With this, it's I'm a bit less clued up on it. So forgive me if I do make a few mistakes regarding geography and so on and so forth. But I'll try my best to keep it to a minimum. Right, there is another thing I like about this route. There's apparently an airbase around here. I don't know which airbase it is, but you've just got a bunch of Eurofighter Typhoons doing sort of training exercises above you as you go through, which I think is really, really cool. There appear to be guard towers on our right hand side. This is probably a Volksarmee site, and there's now a Bundeswehr site. Right, there you go. That beeping almost scared me, but we're now in LZB territory, which should be familiar from the last video on Münster Bremen, in which we spent quite a lot of time under LZB influence. So that's fun. The end procedure is largely the same on this as it is well, on the 101 and literally anything German with LZB. So you just keep the throttle on. You set your target speed, which is what we've done, and just keep the throttle on and sort of let it do its thing. Or if you're driving something like this and you want a bit more input, then you can brake yourself if you want to slow down in time, or if you want to slow down a bit more quickly. In any case, though, the end procedure is largely the same. So you'll get a light saying "end it" or "end" flashing on your display. At which point you have to press the PZB release switch. Sorry, to acknowledge it within 15 seconds, or you get a nice e-brake. And again, from that you sort of do your thing. Right. One thing I have realised, like, it doesn't really matter, but it sort of makes me go a bit E. Is I forgot to switch the thing back to the base setting. And there should be another freight train passing. Oh, hello, there's a 294 tucked in inside. Another mixed freight, so we had a few cargo wagons, a few flats, a few cement wagons for the looks of it, and car takes. Not car takes, car carriers, sorry. There's another thing I like about East Germany. Those signal boxes. It's like, obviously the East Germans were, all the countries in the Warsaw Pact really were massive appreciators of brutalism, shall we say, and that reflects in nearly everything they've done, and that includes signal boxes, which I think is actually quite cool. And there are a lot still standing. We'll see a few more once we go past them. This should be Ludwigsfelde, if I recall. Let's have a gander. Oh, no, Luckenwalde. Ludwigsfelde is a bit further on. But see us go past. Hello. I go out to try and find out where we are, even though it's on my HUD. Nice one, Omar, well done. Good job. Yeah, I don't think my coffee's kicked in yet. Right, so the actual like speed limit on this route is 200 kph, which we're obviously not going to reach driving a loco that's 140 capable with wagons that are only 100 capable. But this route in real life is one of the main sort of intercity routes in Germany. It links Berlin to, well, Leipzig, Halle, Erfurt, and by extension everywhere south of that. And I can't remember the frequency of intercity services off the top of my head, but it is quite a large amount. And yeah, so in Halle and Erfurt, the event links up to the newest high-speed line in Germany, and sort of the story of that is very interesting. So after the German reunification, the then West German government set out a project to sort of bring transport in the east to the standards of the west, and that included connecting the east and west through, I believe, roadways. Well, definitely roadways and railways, but I don't know if canals are included in that list. In any case, this fell under the umbrella of Verkehrsprojekte Deutsche Einheit, or German unification transport projects, and one of those was VD8, which is the high-speed line between Halle, Erfurt, between Halle, Leipzig, and Erfurt. Sorry, it's a sort of triangle. So you've got Halle to the west, Leipzig to the east, and then a sort of Y shape as they both connect and link down to Erfurt. And then that connects onto another high-speed line to go to Nuremberg, and then from Nuremberg onto another high-speed line to go to Munich. And sort of from that, you've got 300 kph running on quite a bit of the route now between Berlin and Munich, which is honestly super cool, and it's something I would quite like to do once COVID restrictions lift and I'm able to go back, which I'm hoping is soon. But at the same time I can't really do anything soon because I'm going back to uni in October. So that's I'm going back to uni in October if I pass this resit, which is all fun and games. So that's what I've had to deal with. I've had to deal with university exams, 2 family deaths on the same night, me failing one of those exams, which out of 8 isn't bad going, and and then me having to do a resit a few weeks back, and then also me starting to learn to drive, and it's just everything has been happening, and that's why I had to sort of put video creation on the back burner, and it didn't really help that the clip I had was just kept corrupting whenever I whacked it into DaVinci Resolve, and sort of made me tear my hair out towards the end of it, which was nothing short of annoying. But no, I am thankfully back. I am finally able to show you this absolutely gorgeous piece of kit for Train Sim. And I'm honestly hoping you folks enjoy that, because I will literally bang on about this given the opportunity. Like, someone will physically have to restrain me if I go on a tangent about this loco. It's just so good. And it's well worth the, was it 549 Czech crowns I bought it for? It's well worth the money in either case. It is really good. And from the looks of it, I think our guy at K-Trains has got a few more projects in the works, and I'm very much looking forward to them when they release. Which will be really nice. So oh, I spy something green and white. Is that Cap Train? It is Cap Train with another 186, and is that a 185 or a 186? Oh well. But it's got a lot of cars, very full car carriers, all the cars, fresh whips, whatever you want to call it. Speaking of cars, Formula One. I just want this break to end, but then at the same time, the first race after the break is, excuse me, first race after a break is Spa, and I love Spa and everything it stands for. It's just such a good track. It's easily one of the best races on the calendar every single year. We seem to be having greens all the way, which, I mean, I'm not going to complain about, but yeah, we've got greens for, I think we've got greens for a while longer until we then have to eventually turn off. Because yeah, so this scenario is called mit Wanne, so with Walter to Van Eyck. And since that's in West Germany near like Düsseldorf, I think this scenario has you sort of turn off this route to join the outer ring. But obviously because the outer ring isn't sort of built in this, you sort of finish at a signal before you join the outer ring. So the outer ring is actually quite cool. It's the main reason it exists is because of the division of Germany. So when the Berlin Wall was built, it not only sort of split West from East Berlin, it split West Berlin from the rest of East Germany, and as a result, the wall literally, you know, went around West Berlin, and sort of to avoid having to go through West Berlin, the East Germans and the Soviets, I believe the Soviets helped them out with it, built a series of ringways, if you will, and one of them was the outer ring, which circumnavigated Berlin and had a few stations on the little villages just outside. And when the wall came down, it was sort of impractical to remove all of the railways that existed in Berlin at the time, and as a matter of fact, even to this day, if you look at a map or timetables, you'll see that they're very much well used, not just by freight traffic but by passenger traffic as well. And yeah, sort of since the fall of the wall, a lot has changed in and around Berlin in terms of rail transport. There's Trebin. I was thinking there'd have been another platform over there, but I think that's at Ludwigsfelde, funnily enough. In any case, though, yeah, so Berlin has never actually had a Hauptbahnhof per se. Well, the old Hauptbahnhof is now Ostbahnhof, but it's never had a Hauptbahnhof per se until 2006, and so it's got both an upper and a lower level. The upper level sort of existed for ages beforehand. It was part of the Stadtbahn, but then the lower level is entirely brand new. It's an entirely new tunnel, entirely new bit of infrastructure. Even if you go down there nowadays, you can tell it was built fairly recently. It's literally just a set of concrete boxes, but they're concrete boxes that do their job very, very well. And yeah, so as I said, a lot has changed in Berlin railway-wise since the wall came down, since the Iron Curtain came down by extension as well. Is that an ICE-1? Oh yes, it is. Got a little hump of a buffet car just as it goes past. Oh, I honestly love these. So good.
Sifa.
In yeah, so hopefully it won't be long from this till I churn out the next bit of footage. I think I'll sort of start doing flight sim videos as well, because well, I finally got a joystick, I finally got rudder pedals and so on, and there's also And, you know, sort of, Microsoft Flight Sim is a year old now. It's sort of starting to become, starting to head up to the level that sort of P3D and X-Plane are/were at beforehand. And sort of even sort of after Sim Update 5, you know, some stuff is broken, but then at the same time it's really, really, really improved the performance, and yeah, it might actually make it streamable without the game looking horrid, because I had to turn the graphics settings down. Right, looks like an RE's just... oh, nice LODs on the trees. Yeah, this is just another thing it's got. My train sim sometimes has an issue with reloading assets, but it's not too bad. Anyway, there's quite a few things I would like to show off in Microsoft Flight Sim, but at the same time there's only so much you can do with it now. Like in terms of airlines to fly, you've pretty much only got the fly-by-wire Neo and the Aerosoft CRJ, and yeah, it's literally it. And obviously development on the PMDG 7.3 has been pushed back a bit. That Phoenix Simulations A320 CEO looks really, really good though. I'd really love to give it a whirl. And you know, sort of with FS Labs not announcing anything for the sim, I think I'll probably end up having to go for that for a CO. Right, okay, so we should be coming up to our turn-off now. You can see that little bar moving, so we've got less than 4 kilometers till we have to turn off. After which the speed limit will drop to 60. At least I hope it would drop to 60, or else something's very, very, very wrong. Although one thing I believe I can do now is just shut off and just let us coast for a bit. We don't need to suck more power out. Although one thing I can do actually is apply a bit of regen. Just be good, a good green boy, and feed some energy back into the system. And that'll be LZB confirming a speed change. So I think it's a good thing we started slowing down a bit earlier. Should have about 2 kilometers left until we turn off. You know, I think I'll give us a bit more regen. Sort of a trick with driving, well, any sort of European loco is to use Rio brakes or regen brakes as much as you can without having to use the air. Because obviously air is a bit volatile like that, and it's a bit of an arse to have to work around with as well. Although one thing I can do now actually is give us a bit of air brake. Immediately release. Just give us a little pump of air brake. But no, you want to sort of avoid using air as much as you can, because especially on long trains like these, air is precious. Like it takes quite a while to build up, and yeah, you want to keep as much air supply as you can. And it also prevents sort of brake and wheel set wear on not just your loco but on your wagon's wheel sets as well. And then obviously there's the case of sort of, you know, regen or Rio braking feeding back into the system, which is always very good. Right, so with this turn off now, we'll do a bit of wrong hand running. I'll just train length measure again, just for the sake of it. you don't really realise how long 563 meters is until you, I don't know, look at it on a map or something. It's incredible how long some freight trains can be. And we're off for some wrong hand running madness for now until we turn off. And I believe the turn off is a single line as well, so you should hear the beep beep in a bit. There you go. That was actually quite well timed because the speed limit goes back up to 100, but then drops straight back down to 80. Say straight back down to 80. It drops back down to 80 eventually. I'll just reset the CIFA before it screams at us again. So yeah, from near here, we'll end up turning onto the little chord onto the outer ring. And I believe this train then ends up going westbound along the outer ring to then go westwards overall.
Sifa.
Right. Okay. So the distance tape is starting to sneak down. I don't want to go above 85 for now anyway, because
Sifa.
well, there's the LZB screaming at us. But there's an 80 coming up, so it'd be near enough pointless to be to even attempt to make it to 100, because if we do, we'll then immediately have to slow down again. So okay, so I believe we should be passing under the outer ring now, and our turn-off should be near enough right here. So there's a little spur leading from this loop, if you will, back onto the main line, or well, to and from rather, because it's bi-directional here. We can get away with just idling for now, because well, we have to stop eventually, don't we? You don't have to acknowledge it because we're on LZB. As if we weren't on LZB and just on PZB, we'd have to acknowledge those flashing greens and slow down to 70. But we're not, so we don't. Right, okay. So where the scenario end marker is well, where the scenario ends, and that signal is where our 0 should be. Right, so this has got, well, there's a whistle board coming up. So this has got, oh shit, crikey. Right, so this has got sort of 3 horn settings. Right. Do want to whack some Rio on, actually. So it's got a high tone with B, a low tone with Shift B, and then the deluxe edition acoustic emittance pack, i.e. both tones at the same time with N, which I can assure you in real life is quite loud. That reminds me, I haven't done one thing, and that's take a screenshot for the video. Can't really be going without a screenshot for the title card for the video now, can we? Okay. Oh, crikey. Right. Um, it feels like taking train photos of a pole in a way. Actually, I think that previous one will do. Actually, I could go artsy fartsy, can't I? Yeah, go on then. Yeah, this is good. Well, I'll have to see. Might actually do a do a do an abnormal thing and put text on a title card, but then I can't be giving me too much faith to do something new. Anyway, let's try and not mess up this braking. Right, I want to give us a tiny bit of air brake.
Sifa, Sifa,
Maybe a bit more air brake. Begin to ease off the Rio a bit.
Sifa,
I suppose we could stop here, but want to draw forward a tiny bit. Just we're not too far from signal, it's just me being compulsive, I suppose. Oh, never mind, just stop us now. And yeah, with that, we've reached the end of the scenario. Thank you very much for watching. Nice, nice car noises, but again, with that, we've reached the end of the scenario. Thank you very much for watching. Apologies for the rather hasty stop coming in, but at least we finished the scenario successfully, I suppose. In any case, thank you very much for watching. I shall hopefully be back soon. Hope you enjoyed. As always, description below for any links and such, and if you have any queries, just whack them in the comments below. And yeah, take care and ciao.